Quest for the best. Scene 1, take 1.
Corn. So, God. Here's the thing. I really need to think about what I'm going to say real quick. No, we're not scripting anything. This is all off the cuff. We're doing the corn episode. This is corn. Here's the thing. I am not a chef, okay? I am not trained in the culinary arts, but what I have been doing is I've been making food my entire life. And I had asked the crew earlier how long it would take to actually get a pilot's license, and what we learned is that it's 1,500 hours. And so, at this point, I've been cooking for as long as it takes to become a pilot. I think I have enough skill to be able to teach you how to make f***ing corn. So, we've got this beautiful thing of corn, right? I'm gonna undress it for you. I want you to see what's inside. It's hairy, it's unshaven. Look at that. It's kind of phallic. It's beautiful. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we are going to be making breakfast tacos with homemade corn tortillas. The thing about corn is that it's an incredibly versatile ingredient. Who doesn't like corn? Everybody likes corn. If you don't like corn, you're an idiot. The best tip that I can give anybody when it comes to cooking is that there's only 2 rules to making good food. It's making the best food. Find the best ingredient that you can and don't f it up. That's what they'll teach you in culinary school. That's what spending 1,500 hours as it would take a pilot to get a pilot's license. That's what you'll learn. This is called Quest for the Best. The show is dedicated to making sure that you're not just making food, you're making the best food. So, let's make breakfast tacos. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to be using this masa harina. So I'm just going to do 2 cups of the masa. And the thing is, you can add a little bit more. I found that when I do just 2 cups and I do 1.5 cups of water, the dough is a little bit sticky. And like if you need to add any more to make it a little bit firm, you can do that as well. So I'm going to put 2 cups of the masa harina in there. I'm going to start with 1.5 cups of the warm water. Corn is a little bit notorious for breaking apart, unlike flour. Flour has a lot of gluten in it. And corn has no gluten, so you need something to kind of bind it. So I'm gonna be doing about 3 tablespoons of lard. Another thing, since I'm using my fingers, don't be making dirty f***ing food with your greasy fingers, you picking your ass, and you don't wash your hands. It's really important. So we're gonna wash our hands. Ow. Hiya. We've got the masa, we've got the pork lard, and then I've got a little bit of water in there, so I'm just gonna mix that around to make the dough. You know, I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to make corn tortillas instead of flour tortillas, obviously this is a corn episode. Corn kind of gives it a better flavor, and especially when you're putting other ingredients into the tacos themselves, it just kind of complements all the ingredients. So it's a little bit sticky, so I'm gonna add a little bit more masa. And now I'm gonna get in there. So you want to mix this around. Nice a little ball here. You like that slapping sound? I don't know if you can hear that. Thank you. When I press down on it, there's a little bit of texture, some moisture. So now I'm going to let this sit in this bowl for about an hour while I make the rest of the ingredients. And then when we're done, we'll come back, I'll roll them into balls, and then we'll make tortillas. So let's make bacon. Okay. I got that there. This is a thick cut bacon. I like to use this because number one, I like to use the rendered fat for other things. In this case, I'm gonna be making refried black beans with the bacon fat. And so I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna heat this cast iron skillet up to like medium high heat. One of the things about making bacon that I feel like people do not understand is that you don't wanna just f***ing heat the shit out of it because listen, I don't want you to f*** this up, okay? This is important to you. People want to do that all the f***ing time. They want to make bacon, they want to make eggs, they want to make tortillas really fast and cook everything on high heat. That's not how food works. You gotta be sensitive, you gotta be gentle. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat these bacon up on medium-high heat. Look at this, right? Nice, thick cut. Look at this fat, okay? There's some meat, right? There's a lot of fat though. But what happens when you cook it too high, too quickly, it shrivels it up, and you don't cook everything all the way through, unfortunately. And for me, because I like to render the fat, it kind of melts it away so that you're able to use it for other things. So we're gonna put, that's nice. Another thing that's important when you're cooking on a cast iron or any kind of skillet pan is that you want to rotate the pan while you're cooking it, because sometimes the heat doesn't distribute evenly enough. So you just kind of want to flip up so that everything kind of cooks evenly and nicely. Fat, beautiful, sizzling. It's loud. It's like it's screaming at you. I like my breakfast to be screaming. When we're making the beans, we're going to be using the grease from this. You know, it's got that nice kind of smoky, fatty flavor to it. It's salty. So you're not going to need to season it a lot, which is also nice. Now see, look at this one. This one is nice all the way from the top to the bottom here. Everything is nice and cooked. I just flipped it over so that the other side can get that as well. You know, again, bacon is just, you know, it's not one of those things if you're doing it in a skillet that you can just kind of leave and forget about. If you want to do it the best. That's the point of the show, guys and ladies. Right? Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off. I'm going to take some paper towels and I'm going to line this plate, and then we're going to take the bacon off, take it off the heat. It doesn't continue to cook. So now we got these going in here. Everything's nice and brown all the way through. I mean, there's a little bit of burn right there, but overall, like, everything is pretty evenly cooked. So now we're going to be making the refried beans. I have the salt, pepper, garlic powder. I'm going to add those to it. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I'm going to add salt and pepper to this. Get some Himalayan pink salt in this, so it's like extra salty, so I don't need to use that much. And I'm going to use garlic powder for a nice garlicky taste to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mush them with this, I say mush, so I'm going to mush them with this spatula. So that's what we're doing. We're refrying these beans in bacon grease. Doesn't get better than that. I mean, how else are you going to fry these things? You're going to do butter? Okay, so that's probably good. So I'm gonna turn it off. Nice. So you got like a nice, beautiful bowl of beans. Okay, so now we're gonna make eggs. You want all of your ingredients that you're actually going to be cooking with to be room temperature. You don't want them to be cold. The thing about having pasture-raised eggs is that the chickens themselves, they get to roam around, they get to eat little buggies, and what you're going to notice is that the yolks inside of them are going to be a more amber color. If you go to a grocery store and you just buy cheap-ass eggs from chickens that have been cooped up in a cage for, you know, their entire life, and they're only eating, you know, their own shit, the yolk itself is going to be pale like white, and that's trash, and throw it away. So these should be a little bit more amber in color. Yes, yes. I swear to God, if I find one person who cracks an egg into a cast iron skillet and starts with it with a spatula, I will find you. We're putting it in a bowl because you don't want to crack the egg into a pan, say, and then you're gonna get the shells all in there. It's gonna taste crunchy. You don't want crunchy scrambled eggs. What is the matter with you? You can see right here, I cracked it and there's some shells in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the whole of the eggshell. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna just take them out. See, look at that. Yeah. I don't know what happens when you put cayenne pepper in eggs, but it just brings it out, baby. It brings out that kind of eggy taste. So I'm gonna add a little bit in here. I'm gonna use a little bit of nutritional yeast. Yes. Okay, little bit of pepper, little bit of salt. Again, you don't wanna over salt them because everything is gonna have some salt in it, so you don't want it to be too salty. You want to use a non-stick pan. You do not want to use a cast iron skillet. Your eggs are going to stick in a cast iron skillet and you will not retain the fluffy, moist texture that you're looking for. If you want to f them up, put them in there. And God help you. you use butter. I forbid you to use oil. Actually, this is a Kerrygold Irish butter. It's just better. It's floppy, all right? You don't want it to be pale. If it's pale, it's garbage. You want it to have some color. You want it to be a little bit yellow. This is just a really flavorful butter, and it's nice. It's a little bit malleable. This, yeah, it's going in that pan right here, a little bit above low. That's enough butter for me. I'm not like super into butter, but when I am into butter, like he's not. You don't want to beat the shit out of the eggs because what will happen is you will separate the proteins and then it'll become crumbly. You want to mix the eggs, but you also want to incorporate air because the air is how they retain their fluffiness. So then we take it over to the pan and then we're gonna gently pour it in. Okay, and if you hear the eggs cooking, you're doing it wrong, straight up. There's nothing worse than overcooked eggs. They smell like fucking wet dogs. It's disgusting. And the thing is you don't want to cook this all the way through on the pan. You want to get it to about this point right here, which is good. I'm going to put it back into this bowl. I don't really give a shit because it's still hot and it's going to cook the rest of that egg mixture that's already in there. They're firm, they're a little bit moist, and they're fluffy. So that's what you want. So now we're gonna make tortillas. So I'm gonna take the dough that we formed earlier. And as you can see, it's absorbed all of its so I'm gonna cut it in half with a knife. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna make little balls out of it. Let's see, I'm gonna cut this in half and do maybe like thirds. I'm gonna form it into a ball. I don't have a tortilla press, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bottom side of the Lodge pan or the cast iron skillet to flatten them out. And I'm going to flatten them between two pieces of parchment. They're not like the most even. Doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, I kind of like that f***ed up look, you know. It's not Quest for the Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to take these 6, right? I'm going to take a piece of parchment that I've already cut out. I'm going to take a ball, stick it in the center, and then I'm going to place another piece of parchment on top. I'm just going to flatten a little bit with the palm of my hand. And I'm going to take this cast iron and I'm going to press it. Take the other side. Just kind of press it down. You know, these are more like street taco kind of tortilla sizes. Cool. So you have 1 tortilla, and I'm going to make 6 sexy corn tortillas. You know, corn is such a versatile ingredient. You make cornstarch, you make cornmeal, corn grits, corn flour, masa, you make whiskey, ethanol. I mean, my God. So now I'm gonna take cast iron, that's where we're gonna heat the tortillas in, and I'm going to put them on higher heat. I'm gonna do about 30 seconds per side and then see. Yeah, there we go. Ow! Here we go, get off there, you motherfucker. Here we go. Ooh, baby, I love you. Ah, we did it. Don't have the rice to it. Okay, now we have these tortillas made. So now we're gonna assemble them into beautiful breakfast tacos. So I'm gonna take this knife, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it nice. Don't skip on the avocado. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the avocado. Here are our beans that we've refried, okay? Mushy, mushy, mushy. I'm going to make a layer onto each tortilla. Next, eggs. So I'm gonna just split them up a little bit. It's beautiful, okay. And then we do our bacon layer. So I'm gonna take the spatula, go around the edge like this, a slice per taco on each. A little salt. Boop, 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 boop. A little pepper. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are breakfast tacos with corn tortillas. And let me just say this. Life is too short to eat bad food, so settle for nothing less than the best. Enjoy.